Hello and welcome to the vlog. It is Sunday. It's not Monday when I usually start, but I figured I'd hop on here Sunday to introduce the vlog and introduce everything that's happening because it's quite a bit different from normal. But I'm Liselle Sambury. I'm a traditionally published author and this week's writing vlog is all about me attempting to write a book in 10 days. Is this not smart? Potentially. Will this kill me? Potentially. Objectively unlikely, but you know, things could happen. But to set the stage, the project I'm going to be working on is an adult horror / thriller. It's called The NEWLYWEDS. It's about a couple who stay at a house that they're actually potentially wanting to buy in a fictional town in Ontario, and it's a home invasion, and that's pretty much all I think you need to know about it. I'll probably come up with something quippier once I've finished, but that's The NEWLYWEDS. And so I'm going to attempt to write it in 10 days, so 5 working days, so Monday to Friday, and then I'll take a break on the weekend, and then another Monday to Friday. And so why am I doing this to myself? I think really what it is I wrote a different adult horror, and I spent what to me felt like a lot of time on it. I spent time plotting it. I spent a full month writing it, and then I spent more time replotting it and then starting to rewrite it, and I just don't want to do it again this year. I kind of just want to rip it off like a band-aid and just do it all in a very short period of time. And part of me, as a personal challenge wise, is kind of curious about whether or not I can do it. Could I truly write a book in 10 days? I don't know. But even while trying, if I try and fail, I'll probably still get a lot more done a lot faster. And so that's basically my idea and what I'm going to be doing this upcoming week, which is why I didn't want to start this on Monday, because I imagine on Monday I'll wake up and then I'll have to frantically write, and then I'll be like, I can't vlog right now, I'm too busy writing. So that's why I'm doing this little introduction here. So that's what this vlog is going to be about. Basically me trying to write a book in 10 days, or succeed or die trying, question mark. Probably not, but I just want to try. I have it all planned out. I didn't do a synopsis, which if you've seen my previous vlogs, that's why I thought the first adult horror failed, because I didn't do an in-depth synopsis before I started writing it. So then you might be thinking, well, Liselle, why would you do the exact same mistake? I just couldn't bring myself to do it, because I would have had to do it last week, and I was like, all this time I'm going to spend writing a synopsis, and then I'm going to jump into writing literally 5,000 words per day. Oh, my word count goal is 50,000 words, so I would have to write 5,000 words per day. And I was like, I don't want to do that right after writing a synopsis. So what I did is I did a very fleshed out chapter summary. So my chapter summary outline is 8,000 words. So then I was like, why would I write a 10,000 word synopsis off of that? So this is what I've done. This is my plan. And this is how the week will proceed. So I will check in with you probably end of day Monday, just so we can see how the first day went. And then I'll probably check in Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. So this is going to be a 2-week vlog, and we'll see if I can write a book in 10 days.
I don't think like that, she says to me. I can't help but feel the subtleties. So if it all
Welcome to the day 1 update. It is Monday, and I just hit 5,000 words, 5,064 words. and it's 2 p.m. I think this is actually like doable. I think I can actually do this. I don't know. So this morning I woke up at 9, and by 10:30 I had written like 2,500 words. So then I took a break and I like played The Sims, and then at 1 o'clock I hopped back in, and by 2 o'clock, which it is now, I had hit 5,000. So it's interesting. So I'm not like sprinting. So usually how I draft these days is I set like a 20-minute timer and I sprint. I'm not doing that because I'm trying to, I guess, draft it a little bit cleaner, and because I have such a detailed chapter like outline, I want to make sure that I'm hitting everything in the chapter outline. So I'm actually like writing a bit and looking at the outline to make sure I'm getting everything in, and like going back and adding in things to make sure that I'm hitting all the things in the chapter that need to happen, and I'm checking on something. So I had to Google what some towns look like, and then I realized I didn't do photos for my character, so I had to find some and put those in, and then like write how they looked based on that. So I've actually been like slow drafting my version of, in that I'm not like frantically typing and trying to put out words as fast as possible. And I actually think I like this style better. I did the sprinting style because I didn't think I could write fast enough or output fast enough without that sort of pressure, but I actually am fine doing it this way, especially because of the way my day is broken up and like breaking it up like that. So I'm really happy. I wasn't sure about my main character, because the personality I have for her, it kind of reminds me of the personality of my main character in Bear Hunt, and I didn't want them to be too similar, so I've been trying to differentiate her, and I think her voice is coming out really well. I'm really happy about it. I also realized when I went to write that I hadn't decided on what tense and point of view I wanted to use, so I ended up just picking third person past. I think that works well for horror thriller, so I'm doing that now, and I think that's what I'm gonna stick with. I think it probably will work better in this case, but yeah, so I'm doing this. I don't know longevity wise how this will work out. Like, can I like keep up this momentum through several days, because this is just the first day, but I'm feeling really good about it. I thought I would be really stressed and panicked, but I'm not at all. I'm actually like really chill, and I still have lots of free time in the day to do whatever I want. So far so good. I also just watched, I'll link it over here, I just watched Kate Kavanaugh's vlog about riding 5K for 5 days, so that ended up being really coincidental, and I know that video is not even recent. I'm so behind in my YouTube videos because I didn't watch anything when I went to Toronto. So I'm catching up on older videos now, but like it was interesting to like watch her do that process that I'm essentially doing now, but for 10 days instead of 5. So yeah, that's how that's going, and I guess I'll check back in with you later on.
If it all expires, I guess the date's not what it seems. But I can't help it, boy, she says to me. I'm not sure I truly gave my best. Made a home but still feel like a guest. And if I've made just one mistake, it's not speaking with my chest. And maybe I'll just cry a little less. The tension, headaches always get to me. Often leave me dazed and wondering. So do you mind if we rewind? 'Cause my mind's on other things, but I'm not sure you'd find them interesting. And Maybe I should practice how I feel instead of trying to
Before I start with this update, I must show you. Look what came! I don't know if you can see the shimmer. It's so cool. So this is from Emboss and Spine. So Emboss and Spine did this whole thing, like a pre-order thing, where Gina, who is like the creator owner of it, did a pre-order. So if you like pre-order through her, you could get like a colored spine. She said she did do mine different / special, so I think it's like more sparkly. I think it's like sparkly on the side, and I don't know if the others are sparkly on the side or if they're just like matte purple like this. But anyway, she offered to send me a painted one, and this is it. I'm so excited about it. I love it. I love the like sprayed edges. It's so cool to have like a sprayed edge copy. And then there's also a candle in it called Voya's Recipe. I don't know if you can see that. And this is an exclusive. I can't remember right now. Book and Reverie is the one who made the candle, who also offered to send me a full size of the candle. So I'll also have another one of that. So I'll link both Emboss and Spine and Book and Reverie below if you want to like check out their stuff. But like, look how cool! It's like purple. And it like smells like coconutty. Gina did ask me like what I thought would be a good scent for the candle, and I was like, well, she like makes a sweet coconut bread. So I was like, that's probably a good one. And so that was the result. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. And I'm gonna put that book back there. Anyway, so writing update. It's Wednesday, and I'm at 15,000 words. So I have been doing it. I've like been doing this 5,000 word thing. I think if I get to the end of the week and I've done it, that I think I'll feel confident that I can just do it. Which is kind of wild. I'm actually feeling good. I was a little bit tired this morning, but I wasn't tired because of like writing tired. I was tired because like I just like stayed up too late watching the Olympics. But yeah, I'm at 15,000 words, so I'm past the first act. I'm like, I want to say like 4 chapters away from the midpoint. I'm pretty much keeping to my chapter amount of like 1,500 words. Like a couple chapters have been closer to 1,000 words, but I've also had a couple chapters that have ended up closer to 2,000 words. But it's exciting. So I'm at the point in the book where the like home invasion has actually started. I think this will be the most challenging part of the book because it's the most challenging part for me to write, because the thing about like a home invasion is kind of like, you know, the person gets captured and then they get away and then they get captured and then they get away, but you've got to like increase the stakes while that is happening. And like for me, I have a few mysteries that are unfolding at the same time. That's kind of the thriller aspect of it. And so for me, my difficulty was like figuring out what they're gonna do when they're like getting captured and they're like running away and then they're getting captured again, and like how to like not make that stale. And it's difficult, like, for me in a horror book to do that, because in a horror movie, you know, that's all action. So it's like you're just seeing that happen. And so for me, I have to try and build that tension and make sure it's not going to be boring. So they can't be escaping in the exact same ways every time. There has to be different things coming out of it. And I've had one chapter where I was like, this might end up being too much talking, but I'll fix it later. And it's a shortish chapter. So that's kind of like my main struggle with this book, is like making sure that I'm not boring people with like what is happening during that bit. And I think that's always been my struggle with this idea of like the home invasion one. And like I've watched some home invasion like movies and thrillers, and I've like got some ideas, but again, it's difficult because so much time is eaten up with the actual action of the situation. But anyway, I think it's like going pretty swimmingly. I'm feeling like it's like really flowing well. Like I'm not struggling to figure out what to write. And I do really like that because I'm taking a slower pace. It is coming out quite clean, which is really nice. So yeah, basically how it's been these past 3 days is I sit down on the computer at 9 and by 10:30 I'm done writing like 2,500 to 3,000 words. And then I take a break, and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon I start again, and then I'm usually done within an hour by 2 o'clock. I don't know why in the afternoon I like write faster somehow. I don't understand how that works. But it's happening, and it's like not killing me, and it's not taking up like a huge amount of my day. So things are shockingly working out. Also, I know this update is like getting longer, but I've done some shorter vlogs, and honestly the longer vlogs perform better anyway, so clearly this is the audience I've cultivated. So I also have some like secret exciting news that happened that I'm excited about, that like maybe you'll hear about several months from now, or like maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Publishing tells me when I can say things and when I can't, but it's exciting for me, and one day you'll know.
Invent the wheel. I know I overcomplicate, but simplicity's surreal. It doesn't seem to me too big a deal. I'm sorry if this all feels like a game. Maybe this whole quarantine's to blame. I don't know if you still love me.
Thank God it's Friday. I feel like I haven't had that Friday, like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy it's Friday feeling, like, since I was working full time. And now I'm like, yeah, I really feel this, just because I'm doing so much writing. So as part of the update, we are halfway there. We're at 25,500. I thought I would just have to beat at 25,000 today, but I don't know. Scrivener is telling me that I had to write more. So I wrote more because I'm just following the instructions of Scrivener. But we are more than halfway through. I'm like, I want to say like 3 chapters past the midpoint, so this book might end up being shorter than I originally anticipated, so it might not be like a perfect 50,000 words, but like if it's close enough, it's close enough. I just care that it's done. I just care that it's done. Today was a day that like fatigue really set in, so I woke up this morning and I was like, man, I'm tired. Though I will say I keep staying up late to watch the Olympics, but I was tired and I like, you know, did whatever, and I ended up starting writing at like 9:30 instead of 9. I still finished at 10:30 for my first session, but it was like slightly less words. So I had something like 2,600 words, where usually I have closer to like 2,800 or 3,000. And then at 1, also at 1, I was also late because I was playing The Sims, so then I didn't get started until 1:30, and I'm finishing at 2:30 now. So yeah, I'm continuing to do it. This is the fastest I've ever written anything, full-length novel-wise, certainly. I'm backing up frequently because I'm terrified that I'm gonna lose all this work that I put in. But yeah, today was like, I was feeling the fatigue. I was still like, once I got into writing, I was in the zone and I was fine to be writing, but like, I was like, yeah, I'm really excited to not write for 2 days. And I'm really happy I've put in that break because I think that'll make such a big difference. So I am still technically writing it in 10 days, but like chunks, 2 5-day chunks. And I am hoping that by Monday I'll be like completely refreshed and ready to jump back in it. Right now, I think it is going well. So this, like, I was nervous about the fact that I'd done long chapter outlines instead of doing a synopsis, but this has actually worked out really well for me, because I'm also not like speed writing, even though I'm writing quite quickly still. I'm like taking the time to look at my outline and make sure that I'm hitting all the points that I'm supposed to be hitting, and so I am getting a much cleaner draft.
It's just like, it's basically I'm getting done in an hour and a half what I potentially could have gotten done in an hour, which to me is like very worth it to know that I'm not going to have huge structural issues when I go to edit this, because I'm sticking so closely to the outline. It's a lot of action right now. I definitely need to like polish up like how I do action scenes, because I feel like I can definitely improve upon that. I feel like there's probably a better way to like describe how bodies are moving and like to like keep tension even while you're adding this action stuff. But it is really, really fast paced. Like I wanted this to be super fast paced, and it does feel very fast paced. Like stuff is happening pretty much all the time. Constantly stuff is happening. So I'm really happy about the pacing. And it's gonna be shorter than expected, so like it'll be, I think, simple for me to like go back and edit and kind of flesh out certain places, because a lot of the faster chapters are because it's so much action, right? But that's going pretty well. I have to like look at that injury dictionary thing. These are all things I can do when I'm revising. Truly, I don't need to do these things right now. But I'm feeling pleased about it. I think it's coming across the way I want it to. I think you're seeing the kind of degeneration of the main character as she struggles with being in this situation and feeling like her partner, her boyfriend, is not really like on board with her. And like feeling like even in this situation they have these kind of moments of teamwork, but then feeling like ultimately he is not as committed to survival as she is, because she feels that the things that she is trying to survive for are more important than the things that he is trying to survive for. And that's kind of like a big point of conflict between them. I introduced another character, he came in, so that's been interesting. But yeah, I'm really happy to take a break. Gonna like hang out. I think we're gonna try and watch the new Space Jam movie today, and like chill and get back to this on Monday, and I'll see ya on Monday.
Maybe this whole quarantine's to blame, and I don't know if you still love me, but I still feel the same. For what it's worth, that's how I feel today. So will I float like leaves do in the wind? Or will I sink as soon as I jump in? For sure my feet will touch the ground, but I can't swim, and I'm not sure it matters in the end. I know that I should practice what I preach, but telling you the truth is hard for me. So Jesus, could you help me out, 'cause I'm bursting at the seams. I guess I'll never know what's good for me.
Happy Monday. We're doing a standing update, but in a different standing spot. I've hit my word count for today. It wasn't 5,000 words because my Scrivener is being really weird and it's miscalculating. So on Friday, I actually wrote way more than I needed to write. I ended up writing something like 5,500 words, something like that, when I should have only written 5,000 words, or actually less, because I've been slightly overwriting a bunch of different days. I don't know what's going on with Scrivener. But anyway, I realized that today and I was like, oh, I only need to write to 30,000. I don't need to be doing what Scrivener is telling me because it's calculating things wrong. So that's why my word count is a little bit less today. Today I was fighting with like the internet. Our internet hasn't been working properly and I've been on the phone to people, so like that made me kind of like tired and annoyed. So I did have to take like a longer break today, but I got the work done. We are one chapter away from the third act right now, so like this is the part of the home invasion book where she's like escaped but she's escaped and she's outside the house, but her partner is still inside the house, so she's like, oh my gosh, I have to figure out something to do to help both of us. So that's kind of like the stage that it's at. I don't think that's spoilery because this is just like home invasion book style. Like people get caught and people run away and then they get caught again and then they run away. Like that's just the thing of home invasion. So I don't think that's a spoiler. But yeah, it's going well. It is very action mode right now. It's basically been like non-stop action since the midpoint, but I did put in a line today that I was really proud of. Like I thought it was like very good, like this is a lesson that can be applied to her life. And I almost did the thing where I was like, I did it and then I was like, wait, let me extra explain this. And I was like, I probably don't need to extra explain this. I think that's kind of the fine balance that I'm finding between like young adult and adult. Is with young adult, even though you're like trusting your teen reader, and you'll be like, I don't need to explain this to you, sometimes there will still be things editorially that your editor will be like, no, please explain this. And so I'm used to kind of being like, okay, I said this line, and then like I do like one more little line just to like extra drive it home. But because it's adult, I am making an assumption that that can be a lot more like things, subtext can be a lot more subtext like, and that I don't need to do that, so I didn't do that. But I think it works out well. And yeah, so that's kind of how it's going. I think it's still going good. I'm still like very prepared and feel like, yeah, let's go, let's continue with it this week. So I'm excited about that. In book news unrelated to the Newlyweds, one of my secrets, I'm not even sure, this is how often as like a traditionally published author you get used to being like, I have a secret to share and maybe I'll share it with you at some point. I know that at some point in this video I was like, I have something secret, and I truly cannot remember which secret it was. I cannot remember what secret I was even referring to. Anyway, I will reveal one secret here because it's been revealed on social media. If you didn't see it already, Blood Like Magic has gotten its very first foreign deal to Russian Federation, and so Blood Like Magic will be translated and sold there and sold in stores. I don't think I have like a firm release date for it. It might be next year, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't hold me to that. But it will at some point be sold over there, and so that's really, really exciting. That came through my agency. So to my publisher, we sold world English rights, so that's US, Canada, and the UK. Currently, those rights are only being used in the US and Canada. My publisher has not sold UK rights, so that's why you can like get Blood Like Magic in US bookstores and Canadian bookstores, but not UK bookstores. And so I own the rest of the rights for the rest of the territories and like foreign language markets, that sort of thing. And so that's why my agency is the one who sold the rights to Russian Federation, because all the rights that I own are the ones that they're going and they're selling or trying to sell. So that's how that process worked, in case you were kind of curious about it. And so that's the big difference between like it being in bookstores or not being in bookstores. So like people from the UK can order my book from the book depository, but they're getting a US version of the book. And even the copies that are being sold in Canada are the US version of the book. I hope that helps clear that up. But I'm really, really excited about it. I'm so excited to like see the cover with Russian on it. Really came out of nowhere. I truly just got an email where our agent at the night agency that like handles foreign rights was like, hey, we got an offer. This is the offer. Take a look. Let us know what you think and if you want us to accept it. Like, out of nowhere. I didn't even know these were talks. So it was a really big surprise, but a very like pleasant surprise. And the fun thing about like the rights that you own is you get that money directly versus like the rights that your publisher owns. If they sell them, a portion of that goes to your advance. I believe it's 80% goes to your advance in terms of like my contract, I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. Anyway, it's already been said. A portion of it goes towards your whole advance. So that's kind of like the difference there as I understand it. So yeah, really exciting. And that's my Monday. This update ended up being longer than I wanted, but I tried. So there you go. And yeah, I'll check in with you on Wednesday or Friday.
Says to me, I can't help but feel the subtleties. So if it all expires, I guess the date's not what it seems. But I can't help it, boy, she says to me. I'm not sure I truly gave my best. Made a home but still feel like a guest. And if I've made just one mistake, it's not.
We were doing so well, and now it feels very like, in the immortal words of Michael Scott, how the turntables. Yesterday I was hit like pretty hard with the doubt monster, where I was like, oh my gosh, is this any good? Like and I was just laying in bed thinking, oh my gosh, is this bad? Like, is this really bad? I don't know. So that's what I got to have my brain circle on last night. But once the morning came, I felt like it feels like normal first draft doubt. I don't feel like it's like the other book where I was like, wow, I kind of hate this. This is like high-key, very trash. I think that what I have here still has like very good bones. I think I'm just already thinking of revisions, which sometimes happens while writing a first draft. I'm writing a first draft and then I start to think, oh, I should probably change this, or I should tweak this, or I should do this and this differently. So it's not like I hate this, throw everything out with the trash. I actually do think I have really like pretty good bones. It was just I was starting to think, you haven't done this characterization well, and this characterization could be deeper, and like maybe there's not enough twists and turns for this, and it's like a little too straightforward, and we have to figure out how to have more like twists and turns, because I feel like it's very action-packed for sure, but it's kind of like I can't remember the book now. Read it for Laura's book club. I can't remember it anymore. Anyway, Mastering Suspense, that's what it was called. And the whole thing was like you're supposed to have twists and reversals and danger, and if you want a fast-paced book, you have those more often. So like, yeah, a twist, a reversal means like I guess it's basically like you change the reader perception. Like a twist is really more of like a reveal of something, and a reversal is like you've pulled the reader in a direction that they didn't expect to be pulled in. And then danger, which is like, you know, fight or flight thing. And this book is mostly danger. It's mostly just like danger, like, oh my gosh, we gotta like run, and we gotta do this, and we gotta fight. And there's like one big reversal, and then there's like a couple twists. And I feel like from the middle, like from the midpoint all the way down to the third act, that whole section is just all danger. And there's not really any twist. There's just kind of an inkling of like other things going on. And I think that's a part of the book that I'm struggling with. And that's what I'm thinking of. I have to revise this, I have to revise this. But the big thing to me is I want to revise it. And I have drive to revise it, and I think it can be fixed and made better. So yeah, I just wanted to check in about that. But I am pretty sure that I'm gonna finish today, which is 2 days ahead of schedule because it seems like I'm gonna be 10k short of what I expected. But yeah, I think we're gonna finish today. So I'm gonna write and then I'll get back to you. I meant to insert b-roll of me typing before this, but then I forgot to record it. And I figured I would save you the pageantry of me fake typing. So like maybe you've seen something before this. If there's something like on the weekend I found to film that I thought I could put in there, but maybe you've seen nothing and you've just gone from one talking clip to the other. And if it's that way, I apologize. But this is me, this is my channel, this is how I am. So we're done. We're done. We're done. It's Wednesday, so that, what is that? 8 days. So wrote a book in 8 days. It's not 50,000 words. It is just on the cusp of 40,000 words. Oh my god, you cannot believe how much it burned me. I was looking at it. I'm at 39,700 words, and I truly thought about going back somewhere and writing like 300 words of nonsense just because I felt like it needed to at least be 40,000 words. But then I was just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Let's make our peace with it and let's move on. It's short. It's all right. When I wrote Blood Like Magic, it was 60,000 words to start, which I knew was short for a fantasy, and it ended up being 146,000 words in the end. So clearly I can add words if I need to, so I don't need to worry about it. It's much better for me to underwrite, but it's done. The Newlyweds is done. I just like... I'm like, oh my gosh, it is done early. What? And it's like 11:30 now. So I sat down to write at 9 and I was just like on a roll with it. So I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to take the break at this time and then like go back in the afternoon. I was like, I'm just going to plow right through and I just going to finish because I want to finish. And those like the final like the third act chapters, like beyond something that happens, are like to me like really exciting to write. So it was like easier to like just like burn through it. Yeah, because it's like it just gets twisty. It gets twisty. But it's finished. It feels very unreal. I think in part because it's shorter than my average book, but also in part because it's happened so fast that it seems kind of unbelievable that I have a full book. But I do. I just have it here existing. I'll probably compile it and put it in Microsoft Word just so I can see how many pages it is, because I truly don't know in Scrivener how to tell how many pages something is. There must be a way. I'll be able to find something. So yeah, it's just like it's done. Now that I'm finished, I really do feel the potential of it. There are so many things that I like about it. I like where the characters could go once I kind of boister things up and I like finesse their arcs and things like that, because there are certain ways that I wanted the arc to go. With when I actually wrote it out, it was more difficult to express and I was focused on just getting everything out and getting the action out that I couldn't really dig into that, whereas I think in my next in my revision I'll really get to dig deep into that. And so I'm just like, I'm really happy. When I decided to do this like 5k a day, write a book in 10 days experiment / writing blog, I was very apprehensive. I knew that I wanted to do it, but I really didn't know how it would go. I didn't know if I would do it. I didn't know if I would completely fail out on it. I didn't know if I would be like, oh my gosh, this is too much work, or if I would just be okay with it. I really, like, when I decided to do this, I thought it was bonkers. I thought it was wild. I was like, this is a ridiculous process / idea. And now that I've done it, I feel like maybe this is the way that I want to write books. I don't know if I would write fantasy like this, just because it's so much longer, and I would have to do this for like a much longer period. I think like 2 weeks is really the sweet spot here. But to me, if I know that a book, like if I want a first draft that's 50,000 words or less, I could absolutely do this process, and I think I would in the future. I'm thinking specifically of Bear Hunt, which I want to be shorter because Butcher Birds is not at all. I want it to be shorter, and so like an aim of 50,000 words would be great for me because I want to end up with something that's like in the vein of 70,000 to 80,000 words. And I think I'll be doing this process for that because this works out really well for me. And now I just feel like I have more time. I decided, I don't think I said on here, but I've decided that I am going to go ahead with my usual process. I'm going to send this to betas and CPs first, get their feedback, edit it, and then I will send it to my agent, because I've really afforded myself a lot more time than I thought I would have. I feel like I'm back on the original schedule that I kind of wanted to have with this book, and I think that we'll still be able to edit and have this ready and polished for the next year. Even if it's not January, it's like February. Like, to me, that's still great, and that's still well within my goals. So that's it. Yeah, I'm really excited about having done this. I'm excited about the Newlyweds. I'm excited to have an adult horror thriller in which I see potential, in which I am hopeful, in which I like have interest and like excitement about making it better versus like 6 Days and 5 Nights where I finished and I was like, this is so much trash, and I had to try and convince myself to like it only to realize I hated it. I feel very much with the Newlyweds, and I'm like, yes, I'm like, this is different, this feels original, this feels like it's like fun. It's first and foremost, it's really fun, and then there are like its own messages in it about certain things, about in some cases, like to a lesser extent, about workplace culture, but also about relationships and adulthood and like the expectations of how your adulthood should unfold, especially at certain ages and milestones. So I'm really happy that this is like turned out well. Yeah, so that's really the end of this vlog. In my next vlog, I'll be taking a break from this just to let it sit and marinate before I go back to edit. So I'll probably be working on my proposal for the Blood Like Magic spin-off idea that I have. So that'll probably be the subject of my next writing vlog. But the writing vlog after that will probably be me editing this book. So if you're interested, look forward to that. On that note, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, especially if you want to see those writing vlogs in the future. If you have any questions for me about this process, definitely feel free to put them in the comments. I will say about this, in case you didn't know, I do write full-time. This is my full-time job. So in case you were watching this and you were like, how do you have time to do this? And this is my job. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Made a home but still feel like a guest. If I've made just one mistake, it's not speaking with my chest.